you guys, it's Grace. Hey, so here's Charlie. And today's video is about service dogs. Hello, I'm just gonna make a casual video talking about my service dog pet peeves, which can be either just industry pet peeves or pet peeves that I have discovered through working with the two dogs that I've been working with over the past year. Let's get into it. My first pet peeve is kind of, common and makes a lot of sense, and it's fake service dogs or people who take advantage of the system. It's just super frustrating when we put in a lot of time and effort into getting our dogs ready to be in public, and then there are people who just throw a vest on their pet dog and they bring their pet dog out in public and they have no manners, which is really frustrating and sets a really bad reputation for real service dogs because people assume that all service dogs are like these fakes that they see out in public. And another thing is those dogs might not be good with other dogs or good with people, so someone could get hurt, and if a real service dog gets hurt by someone's fake service dog, that can really impact the handler's life. Alongside fake service dogs are ESAs, emotional support animals, because it doesn't seem like anybody who actually has an emotional support animal actually needs it anymore. I don't want to pop anyone's bubbles or step on anybody's toes, and if you have an ESA and you actually know the laws and you actually need that dog, then good for you. But oh my gosh, ESAs are just, they're a buzzword right now, and it's so frustrating. I think I'm going to make a video talking specifically about ESAs at some point because they're kind of a big problem right now, but they are definitely on my pet peeve list right along with fake service dogs. Because people don't seem to know that they're not allowed in public. Pet peeve number 2. This one is really kind of weird, and I feel like most people aren't going to understand it, and they're just going to think it's like kind of weird, and they'll be like, Grace, you're overreacting, this is stupid, like why do you care so much about this? But I'm going to explain that to you. It involves accessible stalls in the bathrooms. Accessible stalls are designed for people with a service dog, people with wheelchairs, people who need more space to use the restroom. When you have a service dog, you bring your service dog everywhere with you. You can't just leave them loose in the bathroom running around while you go to the bathroom. You have to bring them in the stall with you. So my big pet peeve regarding this is that there are a lot of people who don't need to use accessible stalls that use them even when there are lots of other stalls available. There can be a restroom with 10 normal bathroom stalls and 1 accessible stall, and there will be someone in the accessible stall but in none of the other stalls. And it can be so frustrating because sometimes I just want to get to class or I just want to get where I'm going and I have to wait for the accessible stall to open up. If you have a smaller service dog, you can get them to fit into a normal stall just fine. But for example, Charlie is a pretty big boy and he doesn't fit comfortably in a stall. Here's a picture of him in a normal stall. Here's a picture of him in an accessible stall. You can see the difference. In the normal stall, he's sticking out, he's in the way. Sometimes his head is under the stall, and then the person next to you is like, okay, what the heck? Like, why is there a dog in my space all of a sudden? But then in the accessible stall, he fits comfortably in there and we're out of the way. A word to any of you who don't need to use an accessible stall but do a lot. I understand that it's really nice to be able to take your backpack or your bag or whatever into the stall with you when you go to the bathroom. But your backpack is also this big and my dog is much bigger. So if there are other stalls open, please use the other stalls, because people who need to use the accessible stall shouldn't have to wait to use it just because you didn't want to use the smaller stall. My third pet peeve is how lackadaisical businesses are about service dog laws right now. They're so happy just to ignore fake service dogs, ESAs, dogs that shouldn't be in stores just because it's more convenient for them. Those dogs that shouldn't be there, A, they make it so much harder for real service dog users, and B, if those dogs attack somebody or are doing something bad in the store, like, they don't have a right to be there. So businesses could have really simplified their lives if they would have just known their rights and acted upon them in the first place. I have come across so many businesses that are happy to just stick their head in the sand and ignore all the problems surrounding the assistance dog industry, and it's very frustrating. There are dogs that walk into Walmart, Target, wherever, without a vest on. They're obviously not well trained, and they don't even get questioned about it. Like, it's very easy for a business to walk up to someone like that and just say, is this a service animal? They are legally allowed to ask that question. And if they say no, I'm sorry, your pet isn't allowed in here. It's that simple. It doesn't take that much work, but businesses are just so lackadaisical about it, and it makes life so much harder than it needs to be. And a lot of businesses aren't even, like, open to being educated. I don't know how many businesses I reached out to asking if they would like me to come present the laws just so they know what their rights are. It's really, really important for businesses to be educated, and the fact that half the time they don't even want to know their rights is so frustrating. Pet peeve number 4 involves mostly moms, I feel like. I don't know how many times I've had a mom come up to me and ask if their little kid can pet one of the dogs I'm working with, and I kindly say, no, sorry, they're working, and explain why they shouldn't distract the dog. And then they get all huffy, and they act like I'm personally attacking them because I won't let them pet the dog. It's not that I don't like you, it's not that your kid isn't cute and I don't trust your kid petting the dog, or I don't trust the dog being pet by someone. It's simply because when the dog is working, they should be focused on their handler, and we don't want the dogs to start seeking out other people's attention when they're working. I've seen videos of this as well where people ask someone, hey, can I pet your dog? And they say no thank you in a really nice way, not disrespectfully or anything, and then the person throws a fit because they can't pet the dog. Go to the Humane Society and pet a dog if you really are that dog deprived. To go along with that is people who pet without permission. Oh, when they just do the drive-by petting, oh yeah, you won't notice that I just run my hand down your entire dog's back. First of all, any dog, regardless of if they look friendly or whatever, you should always ask to pet before you do. If you just run up and pet a dog, who knows how they'll react. Not every dog is super socialized and super comfortable around strangers, or if you surprise them, you don't know how they'll react either. So it's best to always ask before you pet a dog, and if a dog is working, just pretend they're not there. Also going along with that is people who coo or make faces at the dogs because they see that it says do not pet on the vest, and they just assume that they should just, make sure the dog at least knows that they love them. And again, I totally understand. Dogs are cute. Of course you want to pet them. Of course you want to, it brings out your inner, mom, and you're just oh, what a cute baby! I get it. I really do. I'm a dog person too, obviously. But cooing, making faces, waving at them, getting down on their level, all of that stuff is equally as distracting and very frustrating for service dog handlers. So just try your best, even though I know it's hard, to ignore the dog and pretend like it's not there. And if you'd like to comment to the handler that, cute dog, that's better than, saying, oh, you're so cute to the dog while you get down on one knee and propose. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. My next pet peeve is people just forget how to human when they see a dog in a store. All of a sudden, they'll just stop and they'll be like, that's a dog. There's a dog. Oh my gosh. And in the meantime, you're waiting for them to move so you can walk past them and get to where you need to go, but you just can't because they just stopped and panicked because they saw a dog. And how do I respond when I see a dog? This also happened to me a few times in class where a teacher would just stop talking in the middle of a lecture when they realized there was a dog in their class, and they'd be like, oh, there's a dog. And I'd be like, yeah, he's been here the whole time. And they'd be like, oh my gosh. And then they would keep teaching. My next pet peeve involves the stigma behind disabilities and typical stereotypes about people who have a disability. I had one person come up to me and say, "You don't look disabled. Why do you have a service dog?" I kind of sat there in stunned silence for a moment because I never thought someone would actually come up and say something like that to anybody. Because I am here to educate people, I was really nice about it. I explained I'm training this dog for someone with type 1 diabetes or a physical disability. Not everyone looks like they have a disability. Some disabilities are invisible, all that stuff, when really I just wanted to yell at them because it was so rude. To go along with that, it is really hard if you want to go anywhere for a quick errand. There's no such thing as a quick errand if you have a service dog or service dog in training with you, because people will stop and talk to you. I went to the store last week and just wanted a nice quick in and out, grab a couple things and then get out of the store, and I ended up in a 15-minute conversation with a woman who wanted more information about the program and all that stuff, which I obviously was happy to give them. As an intern in the program, I'm here to educate people, but I'm sure it can be frustrating for service dog users when people are constantly coming up to them and asking them questions, and some people are a little confrontational about it too, when they're like, "Why is there a dog in here?" And you're just like, "I just came here to get some groceries." My next pet peeve is people who assume that service dogs have such hard lives. I had someone comment on one of my videos saying, "Oh, well, that poor dog having to work all the time. Why can't it just be a dog?" And here's the thing. I think every single service dog handler lets their dog have plenty of time to be a dog. And also, a dog is not going to make it as a service dog if they don't love working. The dogs that are doing this, they get to spend all day, every day with their human, pretty much, and they have a job that they love. So they're not, poor dog, they're not being tortured. It's not a horrible life for them. These dogs love their lives and love what they're doing. And my last pet peeve, I probably have more, and there might be a part 2 to this video at some point, but this is it for now. My last pet peeve is people who give unwarranted advice. "Why don't you just put a shock collar on them? That'll fix it." And I'm like, did I ask you for advice? For one. And for two, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's shut down the dogs that are working for us. That's good job. I'm all about constructive criticism and all that, but we have a very specific way that we train the dogs we work with. We want to build up their confidence, and we want them to want to work for us and choose to work for us instead of forcing them to work for us, so we like to avoid a lot of the aversive techniques that people tend to recommend to us. That is it for my pet peeve video. I apologize that it got so long and rambly, but these things are real problems, and sometimes you just want to rant about them. So please like this video if you enjoyed it, comment below if you have any service dog pet peeves, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!